in the late autumn of 1970, deep in the frozen hills of Norway. A mystery unfolded that would haunt investigators, historians, and true crime enthusiasts for more than 5 decades. It began on a crisp November morning and ended with one of the most perplexing cold cases in modern history. This is the story of the Isdal Woman, a woman who vanished from history alone in the Death Valley of Isdal, and whose death remains unexplained to this day. On November 29, 1970, just outside Bergen, Norway, a father and his 2 young daughters were hiking when they stumbled upon a chilling scene. Nestled among rocks in a clearing, they found the badly burned remains of a woman. She was lying on her back, her hands clenched up toward her torso. Her body was charred so severely that the front of her clothes and her face were nearly unrecognizable. The initial examination suggested she had been set on fire, but the strangest detail was that her lungs contained soot, indicating she was still alive when the flames began. Scattered around her were personal items, a watch, jewelry, an umbrella, and bottles that smelled of gasoline. But almost every single item had its labels and identifying marks meticulously removed. It was as though someone had deliberately scrubbed away her very identity. The Bergen police quickly launched a full investigation, codenamed Case 134/70, but almost immediately hit a dead end. Without a name, a hometown, a passport, or any way to trace who she was, detectives were forced to work only with the strange items found at the scene. A few days later, 2 suitcases believed to belong to the woman were discovered at the Bergen railway station. Inside these suitcases lay even more unusual clues: wigs, sunglasses, makeup, clothing with all the labels cut out, foreign currency, and a mysterious notepad filled with coded entries that police believed corresponded to places and dates she had visited. The removal of identifying labels wasn't accidental. Every tag, brand mark, doctor's prescription, and maker's stamping had been carefully erased. Even her fingerprints had been rubbed or filed off. Forensic pathologists eventually determined that the woman had died from a combination of carbon monoxide poisoning and a massive overdose of sleeping pills, confirmed by finding phenobarbital in her system. More than 50 pills had been consumed, and another dozen were found near her body. The presence of soot in her lungs proved she was alive when the fire began, raising the terrifying question: was this suicide or something much more sinister? Investigators also noted possible bruising on her neck, suggesting she may have fallen or been struck. Her dental work was unique and didn't match typical Norwegian patterns, hinting that she might have come from another part of Europe. The suitcases became a central piece of the puzzle. Inside, alongside the foreign money and clothing, was that notebook full of coded entries. Police eventually decoded them as dates and locations, likely documenting her travels. She had checked into multiple hotels across Norway, often changing rooms and always paying in cash. In some cases, employees described her as elegant, guarded, and someone who didn't interact much with others. Witnesses also reported that she spoke several languages: German, French, English, and possibly Flemish, but none of them fluently. Police also found at least 8 different aliases she used at hotels, including names like Genevieve Lanzier, Claudia Nielsen, and Elizabeth Lenhofer. All of them were false. This wasn't the behavior of an ordinary traveler. It suggested someone hiding from something, or someone. Investigators were eventually able to trace parts of her journey using check-in records, the coded diary entries, and witness statements. Evidence suggested she traveled extensively through Norway, visiting cities like Oslo, Stavanger, and Trondheim, and likely through other parts of Europe as well. But none of this led to an identity. Her background remained a complete mystery. No family ever came forward. No missing person report matched her features, even after Interpol distributed sketches based on eyewitness descriptions. But even so, many detectives at the time, and many more today, doubted this explanation. The deliberate removal of all identifying features, combined with the coded journals, wigs, multiple fake identities. Over the years, several theories about the Isdal woman's identity and purpose have emerged. The most popular one is the spy theory. Because this all happened at the height of the Cold War, many researchers believe she may have been a spy. Her fake names, her travel patterns, the coded notes, and her deliberately erased identity all fit perfectly with the known methods of intelligence operatives, whether for the KGB, a Western agency, or some other network. In fact, declassified Norwegian defense records suggest some of her movements corresponded to secret military tests, which only increases the speculation about espionage. Others have suggested she may have been involved in some kind of illegal activity, perhaps smuggling or dealing in stolen art, requiring anonymity and travel under false identities. But no solid evidence has ever confirmed this. Another possibility is that she was a protected witness or someone trying to escape a dangerous situation. But again, this remains pure speculation. And then there's the theory that her death was not suicide at all, but murder, carefully staged to look like one. The placement of the items around her body, the lack of footprints or signs of a struggle, and the incredible detail put into erasing her identity all feed into this sinister theory. Even her burial was unusual. The police arranged a Catholic burial for her in a special zinc coffin, hoping that one day her family might identify her and reclaim her remains. It was a sign of deep hope that someone, somewhere, might still recognize her. Decades later, interest in the case was revived when Norwegian journalists and police reopened the investigation using modern forensic techniques. In recent years, analysts have even examined tissue and dental samples, hoping to uncover her origins through isotopic analysis. Her unusual dental work, including distinctive gold crowns, made experts think she might have come from outside Scandinavia. Yet even with new science and renewed attention, the woman's true identity remains unknown. No missing person report in any country has ever conclusively matched her. What makes the Isdal Woman case so chilling isn't just that a woman died alone. It's how little we know about her, despite having so many clues. The coded notes, the fake identities, the deliberate erasing of labels and fingerprints, and the strange setup of her belongings, all point to a life shrouded in secrecy. Was she a spy caught in a tangled web of Cold War espionage? Was she someone running from a past we will never uncover? Or was this all a carefully staged cover-up for something much darker? We may never know. To this day, the Isdal Woman remains one of Norway's most haunting and perplexing mysteries. Her identity, her purpose, and her final moments are still debated. And with every new theory, more questions seem to arise than answers. Perhaps one day, modern forensics will finally reveal the truth. But until then, her name and her story remain lost in the Ice Valley. If you want more dark mysteries and real unsolved cases like this, subscribe to the channel and check out our playlist for more chilling stories from history.